Welcome to the spot. It's time to ignite. Oh yeah. Operation Hangout. The feeling's just right. Chilling with the crew. We're ready to groove. Opinions flying high. Come on, let's move. Woo. Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Pull up a chair, let's get in the zone. Voices blending smooth like a funky trombone. Oh yeah. Topics from the heart, making us think. With a twist and a shout, raise up your drink. Cheers. Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Bring it down, shake it up, feel the beat. With every word we share, the circle's complete. Woo. Living loud, thinking proud, that's what we do. Oh yeah. Join the club, come on through, we're waiting for you. Alright. Hang out all night long, all night. Laughing and debating, playing our song. Oh yeah. Share your thoughts, don't be shy. Don't be shy. Operation Hangout, let's reach for the sky. Let's fly. Hang out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another stream, another live. Of course, you know where you're at. The best place to spend your Saturday night at Spartan SU Network. I am the Ghost Sparta, your host, aka Peter. So, how is everybody doing tonight? Let's get my stuff here all set up, and there we go. All right. David will be joining us very soon. I have a little bit of a surprise for him tonight. But besides that, have you guys ever heard of the Avengers? Some people call it the Avengers of Dark Water. Some people call it the Pirates of Dark Water. Either way is fine. It's no wrong way to say it, but it's definitely a anime for. I don't know if I will call it anime, to be honest with you guys. That's why I want to let David come on and give his 2 cents. Is it an anime or is it a cartoon or is it a hybrid? That is a question of the night I want to ask David that we're going to get into it. So, the Pirate of Dark Water aired in 1991 to 1993 of one full season. So it was broken up in 3 parts. Really depends where you were. You might just got the whole whiff of it, or you got a little piece of it. I caught it at Cartoon Network. Don't remember I caught it towards the end of it. After the lifespan, I really don't remember, to be honest with you guys. So the creator was David Kintuji. I can't pronounce his goddamn last name. I will be putting that in the chats because you guys know I cannot pronounce some words, and this is one of them. So it was actually a fascinating series. The reason I say that, because it wasn't like a series that you think kids would pick up. Believe it or not, this was more a series that adults got into. Believe it or not, adults got more into it. Yeah, man. He wouldn't get hair in my mouth. It was more adult driven, but I think kids would love it. Eric says he remembers it, but I never felt like an anime show to me. Okay, so I want to say it was an anime show, Eric, but I would definitely say it was more a what's I'm looking for? Anime drawings, if that makes sense. Um, like I said, I've caught it on Cartoon Network. I know it was on the CW for a while. Eric, out of curiosity, did you catch it on Cartoon Network or CW, or what channel did you catch it on when it aired originally, or did you catch it on reruns? I'm very curious about that. So I was saying, let me see how many episodes were they of this series because I don't remember, to be honest with you guys. And that's one part of my notes I did not write down. Of course. Let's see, episode guide. Here it is. Season 1. Only one season. Scroll down. So it was 21 episodes. I just wonder why they broke it up in two. So let's get my boy in here. Guys, you guys know him as Little Groot. You know him as Baby Groot. You know him as a lot of things. But tonight, we're going to call him as Pookie Bear. Hi, Pookie Bear.
Bear paw. Bear paw.
All right. Turn your fucking camera back on.
Bear paw. To all my
Turn your camera on.
followers
So
who
you
know
want your
what I
surprise?
am and where I'm
Do you
from,
want your surprise?
they
Do
know
you want your surprise? I have two surprises
what.
tonight for you. Do you want the first one now?
Mm-hmm. What it gonna be this time? That's better. I prefer that.
Here's the second surprise. Here's the second one for you.
My mommy said no more skibidi toilets, so I left a poo-poo in her chocolate cake. This is Ohio,
That'll work
home
for
of the
me.
Gritty and Rizzlers. I'm having skibidi toilet withdrawals. I'm going insane if I don't watch episode 99. I will annihilate mankind with an hydrogen bomb.
You can play the bear
Fortnite
sound for
legendary,
me.
Fortnite legendary Scar Boogie Bomb. Bustin' like Gaia's anime transformation. I curled a pillow for 55 reps, and now I'm exhausted waiter. Can you please get me one chug jug and one grimace shake, Aiden Ross? I'm your number one fan. I want to be a Rizzler like you when I grow up. Can you please make me your prodigy to understand the quantum mechanics of Riz and the indecencies of the neurological pathways of the conscious nervous systems, justifying the moral dilemmas of man, the ultimate judgment of character, based on forged principles?
If Eric ever joins us on a panel, that'll be his entry theme song.
That would not work for me. You can play the
Actually,
bear sound
I
for
got
me
one from
going
Wally
forward. I
too.
prefer that.
Maybe I told you guys the last couple episodes a while back on the anime show, that I will get Wally a theme song.
Mm-hmm.
Remember?
I remember.
Told you I found something for him.
Well, I prefer
all
the
right,
bear
Eric.
sound. That fit me.
All right, Pookie Bear. Question now for you. A serious question, because you're the anime expert on the panel now. You're the only anime expert I have right now, actually, because Wally's taking
Until my kind of
what?
come in, we start going to a crazy debate all over again.
Oh well, is he gonna show up tonight, or is he taking the night off? I thought he was taking the night off.
Let's see.
So,
I'm a
hang on.
person. He got too much on his hand.
No, that's fine. It's fine. My
Hate to
question
be-
to you, David. My question to you is: do you consider Pirates of the Dark Water an anime, a cartoon, or a hybrid?
I'm glad you asked that question, ladies and gentlemen. I took the time to look in just to be sure what to say, what to call it. Because this production called Dark Water, we didn't know it was Pirate of the Dark Water, right? No, that's not what they call it, right? Let me get my note correctly.
The title I have found, I have researched, was two names: the Pirates of the Dark Water or the
Yeah,
Dark Water Adventures.
you're correct. That's what I was looking at when I did my. I thought, hold on. Something here doesn't make no sense. I'm like, hold. Let me be sure that I didn't mislead myself. So, it did have two names. It was mostly known as Dark Water Adventure, but originally were Pirate of the Dark Water. The company that produces was Hanna Barbera, right?
Correct.
Everybody know Hanna Barbera. They've been here since the '60s, the '70s. They were the juggernaut back then. They owned the airwaves. So
Oh,
I
anyway, they
was
fucking conquered Elway. Any
that's the
kind of
crazy thing about it.
cartoon or anything back then was based off Hanna Barbera's production. I don't care how you like the Flintstones, the Jetsons, Scooby Doo, you name it. It was in the air. Or Cartoon Network was under Cartoon Network banner at one point. Hanna Barbera was running it
Hmm
at one point.
And that's the thing I was trying to figure out. Because unlike, remember we had another discussion about another cartoon, and we look at all the show that came up from Hanna Barbera, and it was a long ass. I was like, okay, it's more like they conquered it. It's like they not one network throughout the United States cannot even have Hanna Barbera production. From the East Coast to the West Coast to the North to the South, any cartoon was done by Hanna Barbera. This show was produced or was run back in 1991 and ended in 1993. It started on February 25th, 1991, and ended on May 23rd, 1993.
You know what
Was,
fascinates me about the dates?
was-
They broke it in 10 episodes. Year one, year two, year three, because there's only 20 something episodes for one season.
yeah, 21. 13 episodes with one season, 8 episodes for the second season. I mean, it was cut short.
But my
They
all
canceled
the
this
homework I
program.
did on
Which
this is only one season
why?
is in here.
Go ahead.
What I have found online and everything I saw, even the episode guide I found is only one season.
Technically, it was two
Good,
seasons.
dude.
The first one was 13 episodes. The first season was 13 episodes. Second season was 8 episodes, which it didn't make any sense. And
I have found
they,
nothing past 21 episodes.
I went to ChatGPT and I went to Google. It's almost similar to both sides. It said it was unfinished and they canceled it. Why? Nobody knows. That's an inside
I know
scoop.
why.
Why?
No, it's actually a good reason behind it. So originally, this was supposed to be based for kids, but it actually gravitated more to
Mhm.
adults. So all adults were watching it, but I know kids were really watching it. I liked it as a kid, but not many kids
Mm.
actually enjoyed it. So toy sales were so low. You know how the American cartoon series are, or anything in Americans here. If toy sales don't sell, there's no anime, no cartoon, no whatever you want to call it, no series. Does that make sense to you now, David? Are you with us?
Do animation of fit this standard. The rating dropped in season that was 3, 4, 8 of the 13 children were like incomplete. It was like saying there was an inside dispute based on production. Commentator talk about when it comes to production with anime. That's almost similar. The production costs. If you want to get the audience, sometimes you go a little extra mile on the production. When the cost a little bit too high and don't get the rating, it become a problem, right? Sometimes there could be internal rivalry whereby whoever managed that particular project, either get no favor from the higher up of interest. When we talk about the issue between Dragon
Hmm.
Ball franchise and One Piece, Dragon Ball franchise, when they don't want money for the company and have to go on multiple hiatus, just to support One Piece. Hanna-Barbera is a massive company. So everybody was assigned to a different project within Hanna-Barbera. This project, the team that was focused on this particular cartoon, either they went past their budget, where they're saying high production cost due to quality animation, because I hate to say it, Dark Water had some good quality animation. It was getting real good, but it was going through their budget, and they wouldn't make the money back. You know what I'm saying? When you spend a lot of money on production, on any movie, on
That I'm
any
not gonna
TV
argue
show,
with. But the major factor of the series getting canceled, it was production was a part of it. I'm not denying that part, but the
hmm
major last nail on the coffin, for argument's sakes, was it was no toys to sell because kids were not gravitating towards the series. More adults were. If you can't sell toys, it doesn't matter how high production series is. I bet you it was a very high production series, and they were selling toys like fucking crazy. I bet you they have 4 seasons, 5 seasons, 8 seasons, 9 seasons. We had some other series that would have production. Remember that? That went for a couple seasons.
hmm
These toys were selling. These kids loved it. That didn't happen here. And I'm going to use something completely off topic
now,
here. Is Power Rangers. When Power Rangers first launched, it was a high production series, but kids went for it. They were selling toys like crazy to the point they couldn't keep up on the
but the
shelves.
thing is,
They, they, were, to
but the
put,
thing
they
is,
were able to produce the show.
now that you're bringing Power Rangers into the conversation, I will have to look at it this way though. Power Rangers already had a huge following in Japan. They wanted to take something that was very popular over there and bring it over here. And they did a test pilot. They did a test pilot first, if I
I'm
remember
going to argue
correctly.
that, David, because they
Okay.
like Kamen Riders came here, failed horribly. Kamen Riders is bigger than Power Rangers over there. You know that.
And
Gundam
that I
is
to-
pretty
that
decent here,
that I
not as
totally
good.
agree with you. I agree with you on that part. I agree with you on that. But
So
somehow, what I find it strange, you're
right.
right. Kamen Rider was much popular than Power Ranger, but it got shipped on to WPIX 11 network, where it's only on Saturday, and not too many people watch it. Power Ranger was so much of a hit because it wasn't like Kamen. Kamen Rider was more like these people almost look like Power Ranger, but they have bikes. Power Ranger had the droid. This is more like saying you're giving a live action version of
I'll give
Voltron.
you a better example right now. Masked Rider. That was supposed to be a spin-off of Power Rangers. Remember, it started with a Power Ranger, one episode of Power Rangers. I think it was season 3 or something
hmm
like that.
hmm
And it was a good start. I mean, like
Yeah, but
it
the thing
ran.
about Max Rider is almost like saying you're doing a parody of Kamen Rider.
Okay, I'll give you a better example, my man. VR. VR Troopers.
Oh,
I can go
VR
on. We're gonna argue about it all
VR.
day all
I
night.
know VR Trooper was a watered down version of Beetleborg.
Oh, what?
Beetleborg. Remember that Beetleborg, another one that's over like VR Trooper?
Actually, you had it backwards. VR came out, then Beetleborgs came out a second.
Okay, my mistake, my bad.
No,
I
you're fine. You're
apologize.
fine. You're fine.
But I call it watered down because VR Trooper didn't really hit as much like Beetleborg did. Beetleborg did to a certain degree, and after that it dropped off. But Power Ranger, the formula it had that made it take longer, because first and foremost, remember, Voltron was the icon in the US due to cartoon flat anime. To have it live action, whereby it's not cartoon, you see a droid and they come in and fight beasts. You don't call it raw beast, you call it something else. It catch on. But what was slick about it, they only select certain version of Power Ranger to have here done on American version. Because if you to compare the library of Power Rangers,
Mhm.
and I'm trying to talk about what today's show is, the library for Power Rangers in the US is nowhere near the library for Power Rangers in Japan. Let's put it like that. So it's a lot. They found a way to make it work, but toward the ending of up to date Power Rangers, they lost their lackluster appearance because after a while, thanks to the internet, people start to find out that there were more Power Rangers series in Japan than in the US. People start to catch on, thanks to like Dragon Ball Z. They found out the dragon was actually cursed compared to American version. So it was a slow decline until you notice you don't hear much about pirates anymore. So look at Dark Water. Dark Water, I hate to say this, Hanna-Barbera was a juggernaut of a company.
I agree.
It was a juggernaut. And the fact that they have so many projects they were working on, in my head, I'm thinking there wasn't enough money to push Dark Water. When they say high production cost, the first thing in my mind, there was a fit budget. And they were supposed to do something with that particular idea and get audience. And you said to yourself, it was, the people who were enjoying Dark Water were more adult than kids. It was making more sense to adult than kids. And when
Absolutely.
that happened, when kids are not watching that particular production from Hanna-Barbera and watching other stuff, Hanna-Barbera said, why should I keep this if I'm not getting the kids' eyes? But yet, they slept on. Sometimes your adult audience can bring in more stuff if you have merchandise that will cater to them. But when they're looking to cater to adults, they're looking to cater to kids. Hanna-Barbera's main objective is to get the American kids to hijack their parents. I call it hijack. To hijack their parents, drag her out to the store, and put money in their pocket, aka buy them damn toys. Doc Water didn't do that. So it was costing them, 'cause remember, the amount of money they put on the budget for that particular project did not match the sales they're going to get back from it. And you're not talking about this cartoon to tell toy sell thing. If we're not selling toy, we're not going with the product. It was kind of stupid. Japanese production anime weren't about the toy sale. They were making money from their book sales. 'Cause a lot of their anime came from manga. If you want to be correct about it, right? And they make a lot of money from their book sales, from the manga sales. They weren't looking for the toy. If you're looking for the toy, the company that make the toy merchandise were based on quality. They're making quality toys that go along with the franchise. That was the big difference. But Darkwater, it had a very unique theme, very unique storyline. I hate to say it, the storyline did cater to adult because it no, if I want to be real, it's almost like it gave idea to Pirate of the Caribbean in a way. If you want to do matching of the storyline, matching of the idea, the type of character you find in that one, there's a few instances you find the clue that it showed up on Pirate of the Caribbean. That's the thing about it. And again, it was a pirate cartoon. How much often you see kid cater to a pirate cartoon before One Piece came to existence?
Third, except One Piece, none. Oh wait,
But
we had Peter Pan. Will you count that?
Peter Pan wouldn't consider to be a pirate. That's more like make believe.
Yeah. So except a Pirates of the Caribbean that was more recent than older,
Hmm.
none. And I'm surprised because come on, who doesn't want to be a pirate growing up?
Thank you.
You want to be a cannibal in your case, but I wanted to be a pirate.
And that's the thing. The pirate thing was not catering to the kids. Because after Dark Water, you can't compare Peter Pan with more like make believe. What other pirate card do you see a bunch of people flying? None. So that's why Peter Pan doesn't count. That was Disney, right? After Dark Water, what other cartoon series or franchise before One Piece that was all about pirates? None.
Yeah, I don't remember any of it, to be honest with you, David.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this show right now, if unless you want to tell me I'm wrong, before Dark Water was I'm gonna go back to the date. I'll make sure we make sense of what we are talking about because it's not an argument, it's more like a point now of the obvious, right? This franchise debuted on the network from February 25, 1991 to May 23, 1993. One Piece came into existence in 1999. on the airway. So before 1999, what other cartoon slash anime that had a pirate thing that was successful? Will you please let me know, ladies and gentlemen? Bring your idea. It was a fantasy. Actually, it was a fantasy setting that lent itself very well to adaptation to Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah,
I don't remember
Dungeons.
that. Maybe I'm too young to remember that.
Yeah, I remember Dungeons and Dragons because that was Dungeons and Dragons with a pop icon back in the '80s. But this, when you heard about pirate thing cartoon, there wasn't too many pirate thing cartoon out there. It wouldn't catch on in the American audience, especially among the kids. It was not. One Piece was completely different. One Piece, if you ask me, is the only pirate thing anime that had no rivals. The fact that you have over 1,130 plus episodes on One Piece right now to date, with a very deep storyline, with so many deep backdoors to almost to each and every individual character that you may know in there. That shows how deep that anime is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before One Piece came into existence, there wasn't any anime or cartoon that had a pirate thing that were very gravitating. Let me throw it in the mix. Power Rangers did have a pirate theme in this series, but it was still focused on the Zoid.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that. Yeah, what was it called? I don't remember the name, but give me a second. I'll look it up.
It was done better in Japan than it was in the US. I'll tell you that right now. I saw the Japanese version and I was surprised. It had a much better storyline over there compared to the storyline they did for the US. So I thought to realize they need to stop doing Power Rangers because they take the original storyline from Japan, trying to Americanize it, and they sabotage it. They why the really keeps going down on the downward slope. Because people who
I
got
know,
sent,
but Pirates is on a pause. They're working on a reboot of the whole series.
no, here the part they can't really if they want to reboot the whole series, it's not gonna be either. Because first of all, the ownership to that storyline Power Ranger belongs to the Japanese, but they don't call it Power Ranger.
They're
They
already
say
announced they're going to do that, David. They're already talking. They're already working on it. They're shooting as we speaking a reboot. Netflix owns the right to Power Rangers now.
now, wow.
Yeah, they got so from Saba. Saba, to me, I can't remember the exact name. Saba something. I believe it was Saba.
Hmm.
Then it went to Disney for a while. Saba said, "Fuck you, destroying my creation," because he created the Power Rangers, the American global monstrosity, what it is. Because
Yeah, I know.
Japanese had it, but they did it better over here. The way he did it better and globally. Let's give him credit when it's due. Let's be honest. I know you
Yeah,
hate to say that.
yeah, I
Mm,
get that.
yeah,
Saba did it. No, Saba did a good job of making an American version of it.
yeah.
But when you hear me that didn't took over, based on what series they took over, then I will know they damaged it. Because they don't do well with something that come from Japan. They don't.
So after Disney bought it, he bought it back.
Oh,
Makes sense.
makes sense.
And that series is called Pirates. It's called Mega Force.
Mm.
The special thing about that series that made it unique, they can morph or transform, however you want to call it, to
Mhm.
any other Ranger form at the point. All right. And also, I want to touch base really fast. So, Kamen Rider in America came out in 2008 to 09.
Okay.
Failed. Hang on.
Okay.
Mummies Alive, 97 98. Again, it was a decent series. It failed. I think it was production, not because of toys.
And Mommy lied on the Hanna-Barbera, right?
I didn't get that far, to be honest with you. To be honest, David, I'm just naming a couple things off the head really fast. Now,
Because I was
Mr. Knights. Again, another similar one. It was from 98 to 99. It didn't last long. Then you had Mask Rider, we talked about before, 95 to 96 only. That's sad. Beetleborgs, like you're arguing for. It was after Mask Rider, literally as Mask Rider ended, this started. 96 to 99, 98. 3 years only. So what are they doing so wrong that we cannot keep good series going for a long time?
Writing, storytelling, and production. Eric will talk about Space Pirate Captain Harlock. That one is Japanese. Yeah, that was more futuristic, yet a pirate. But I go way back since the 70s. Remember, I did a show about space battle. No, what they call it?
Yamato.
No, Yamato. We did a story about that one, and we also talked about the Blue Noah. We both was under the same franchise, company.
Yeah, you did both of them, didn't you, David? I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we did both. Yeah, we did both of them.
That's what I thought because I used to do the thumbnails for you.
So that was a pirate thing on the Japanese side of things. Hey, Catalina, how you doing?
Hey,
So,
the group up here on this side for once. Welcome.
so I would say this. Even though you mentioned these things, they were Japanese themed animes. That was more futuristic. I'll give you that. But for the American show in the United States, there wasn't any great successful pirate themed cartoon that did very well. Let's be real
By the
though.
Flintstones, for example.
Flintstone, I mean, pirate, that's Stone Age, yes, but Flintstone is iconic since the 70s. It was a mainstay, just like the Jetsons. They were not going nowhere. They'll be on rerun for the longest as we live. But the fact that you don't see rerun for Dark Waters, and they say they were not modeled for rerun, that's the issue right there and there. And I find that crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But the way Dark Water was, it looked like it had a very unique storyline. Instead of allowing it to flush out properly, like you mentioned, they shut it down. American way of seeing which one is successful is all based on toy sale. When we do the cartoon series, if it's not selling toys, we're not signing off for another season. Transformer, perfect example.
Come down to what, David?
Are we monetize right now?
No, money. That's what my point is trying to get to.
Yeah, it comes down to money, but it comes down to toy sales.
Toy sales equals money.
I
Same
know.
concept.
I know. But here it is. Transformer have multiple seasons, multiple rerun, multiple reboot because of the toy sale. G.I. Joe was no different. Voltron was no different. The old Thundercat was no different. The He-Man old version was no different. What other cartoon that was doing excellent well in toy sales since the 80s?
It was Thundercats.
Old Thundercat did well. G.I.
Voltron
Joe
did really well.
Voltron did very well. G.I. Joe, Transformer.
G.I. Joe is ridiculous for selling right to these days.
Flintstone only addicted to the honeymoon. Yep, Eric, I give you that correct. They only addicted to the honeymoon. I'll give you that for that one. Let me see. Come on, and help me out. I'm trying to go through my head of everything I watch on TV. Care Bear, toy sales.
God, don't get me started. I hated that fucking thing. I hated that so bad.
DuckTale, toy sales.
And that's rebooted now too.
Darkwing Duck, toy sales. Tailspin, toy sale. Chippendale, toy sale. I'm going through my head real hard. Those, not only some of the, on the addition that it had toy sale, it also add more money on the amusement park side of things. Let's not forget that part. What Disney were doing, they're doing double whammy. They make money on the toy sales, and they make money on the amusement park theme. And
Oh,
more people-
absolutely.
so they were
Disney
milking
does-
it.
Listen, as many people want to give shit to Disney, they're smart for
They were
years
milking
and
it.
years and years. You know what I'm saying?
And I'll give you that, they were milking it. But Dark Water, it's almost as if, remember I said it, Hanna-Barbera is a juggernaut. But whatever money they put on that particular project, they didn't have high hope for it. I had to believe it that way. They didn't have hope because Hanna-Barbera had a lot of successful projects that lasted multiple years. The Jefferson is Hanna-Barbera project. Am I right? The
What is it?
Flintstone, the Jefferson is
Yeah.
Hanna-Barbera project. Multiple years. The Flintstone, Hanna-Barbera project. Multiple years. They had a lot of successful wacky races, Hanna-Barbera. Multiple years. They had so many successful cartoon projects that did well. Multiple years. This one didn't have much hope. Maybe because one idea was like, oh, let's do something like pirate. And they're like, because they look at their playbook. What making money for them? All the other products that they made in Hanna-Barbera were making money for them. What a pirate thing. Let's be honest. It wasn't. They sound like a very interesting cartoon. You said it yourself, it was getting to the adult, but it wasn't their cup of tea. Let's be real. It wasn't their cup of tea. It had a much deeper. I think the problem it had a much deeper storyline as they were progressing. And when you come with kids, it's not entertaining, shining. I don't want to be brutal. The American audience, American kid audience, is not the same as the Japanese kid audience. Let's be upfront right now. The type of audience you have in the US is not the same type of audience you have in Asia, in Japan. Can we be honest here? Because what we flush out here, I don't want to say the word dumbed down or not compelling, not intriguing,
You
but
understand overseas mindset is different than ours. So
bingo.
that's not a fair statement.
I know it's not a fair statement, but the type of stuff they put out there, the type of anime they put out there, it took them a while before you get here because they wanted to sure that American audience would get it. Mind you, when you first start watching Dragon Ball Z, right? Do you realize they watered down Dragon Ball Z from the original version?
I was very watered down.
But did you know that beforehand, before you find out afterward?
I actually originally watched it in Greece.
We watched the original in Greece. So you
Yeah.
saw the one with a curse and everything.
There was subtitle, no, was dubbed in the Greek. So it was no cursing, but you see a lot of nudity and stuff like that.
And you see blood.
Oh, yeah.
Then when it came to the US, they watered it down badly. Going sure that will fit the airway for the United States. That's why I'm trying to tell you, yeah, the audience is completely different. It was completely different. When they bought One Piece here in 1999, did everybody know that One Piece will be the longest running modern day anime to date? Going over 1,130 episodes with an international following? So huge, they had a holiday in Japan to recognize One Piece.
Really? I don't think One Piece that good, bro. People keep too much
I
credit.
I know you. Here's the thing. I know you're not gonna look at it as great, but those who have traveled to Japan, they would tell you when they seen them subway train, which is cleaner than New York City subway train. They had a promotion where they paint the whole entire train to recognize One Piece. I was like, damn, that serious?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, even though it's an OG anime, you call it the big three, not the big at Dragon Ball, even though the time crap on it. One Piece pirate thing have a very unique blend. I watched over 1,000 plus episode of One Piece. I had to give it to them.
You have no life.
No, it's not that I have no life. They would have. I want to put it this: we had a content creator. I think he's from down south. He was doing the same thing you did. He was crapping on One Piece. So who could watch over 400 or 500 episodes? He was saying that BS though. And you say, no, no, let me watch it for myself first. Let me see why people love it so much. So he would have been watching. Like working like almost 8, 10 episodes a day. By the time he got to episode 200 something, the guy changed it. No offense, I had to apologize. Your One Piece is not like every other anime because it have very deep storyline, and there's always a backstory to it. I found out the next two arc after this put to end the anime franchise.
So
Yep.
here's my thing with One Piece really fast. All right, one,
Mhm.
I don't have time to watch a million episodes. Number one, I'll be honest with you.
I know that.
Number two, I try watching not once, not twice, but 3 times.
I
Couldn't
know.
pass the 5th episode. It's not for me. I'm not saying it's a bad anime. I'm saying it's not for me. So I think at some point when you hit and we're doing a show really soon. To how many to see too many seasons? I think One Piece has hit the brink of no return to the point is it way too many seasons, and they need
Mhm.
to cut the vertical finally on that one. But
I hate to say
people
it,
are
but
still paying money for it.
here's the problem. People have complained about One Piece having so many episodes, and they say you need to cut their umbilical cord. But here where it gets real funny for you. You can't cut it, no matter how much you want to splice it, because that thing have gone beyond what people expect it's going to be, and
Mm.
that's the truth. I'm being honest with you right now. The kind of money that One Piece is making for the production company itself is bananas. Real talk. The amount of gain they made out of One Piece is making money for them. You can't stop the juggernaut. And the fact that
I can sit here and respectfully disagree. I think it's the old school fans who keeping it alive now.
it's not just simple as this. It's not just the old school fans that keep it alive. You have some new school fans, even though who make fun of it at first. Remember this guy? I'm telling you, he black like me. He's African American. He was literally shitting on One Piece for months. Never wanted to watch it. By the time it was like episode 5 or 600, and he was making fun of how you have so many episodes. So he decided to see, let me see why it's so interesting. He said, yes, the first few episodes, it wasn't as catchy as it thought it would be. He continued to watch on until he get to episode 10, 15. Then he started to understand what was going on. It was a very deep storytelling. By the time he did an upload, he hit episode 200 something. This dude is buying the hat. He going cosplay. Just the same individual who was crapping on it at one point. Decided to check it out for himself
Really
one
fast
point.
before I forget because it came in my feed right now because I'm looking at more shows that did really well. Ninja Turtles is another one.
Ninja Turtle, it's how many people do Ninja Turtle went through already? A lot.
It still sells. People still go back.
It sells. That's Ninja.
Go
Yeah.
Ninja, go Ninja, go.
So you had the movies, you had the animes, you had the games.
I'll put it this way: anytime you have a high end rapper from the '90s who made a rap just for the fucking movie, you know it's one of the it's going to be a really good series. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
As you might hate Vanilla Ice or you might like them.
And
Like,
even the movie had a went through a reboot. The old Ninja Turtle movies still iconic. They did a new version to make it more animated. I can't say it's iconic, but it's slightly improved. But who know what you want to say? But it still make money. One Piece, I don't think you understand how bad it is. The figurine make money. People go to Comic Con cosplaying on One Piece, make money. The
dude,
games,
I literally saw when we went to the Comic Con next year, and obviously, yeah, you'll be here this year with us. But the two biggest booths was Dragon Ball
mhm,
and One Piece. I'm not talking about size. I mean statue size. I looked at it like, whoa, motherfucker's big. I looked at Paul. Like, and when we walked on to Goku, I go, I hope he doesn't fart on us because it's gonna be a really bad fart for us.
no, One Piece is no joke. I'm telling you right now. You know how many females who like to cosplay One Piece way more than anything else, and they're picking to the which character on the One Piece.
Bro, you don't tell me. I go. You trust me. I seen all this stuff.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Some of them go for the most sexiest One Piece character. I see a bunch of women doing that Hancock doing this. I'm like, one day you gonna break your neck doing this, doing her pose, but there are a lot of character in One Piece that gravitate to a lot of people. That's how bad that is. The game they make is making money for them. So One Piece is not going nowhere.
Is it
You know how
game?
many the game? Yeah, they have games.
I didn't know that.
Now look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Look at all the cosplaying. And people going like, dude. The one who had the biggest fan base is Zoro.
Yeah, I heard like one of the best fight scenes in the whole series is Zoro versus somebody.
Oh,
Um,
that was the fight thing. They now give him the name, the King of Hell. That is
so
new
hang
nickname.
on, David. Time out. Let's do a little time out here for really fast. Let's do a little break here of the talk of the talk. All right. So yes, Eric, David will be at Comic-Con, ladies and gentlemen. Your boy did it again. You know what I'm talking about. We got to be at Comic-Con every year. It has to happen. Not needs to happen. It has to happen. Myself, Paul, and David will be at Comic-Con this year. I was going to start announcing it sometime next month, but fuck it. Let's do it now.
And I hope next year while they come along, so they will know that we are both hosts of the anime show.
Yeah. What is the extent we're going to be there? I really don't know at this point. It's too soon to tell. But one thing I will tell you, we'll be around. Look for a big, ugly poke bear. Look for a Greek Spartan, and look for a bull guy. And you find the Spartan guys. Simple as that. That's what I keep. But seriously, if you're gonna be at Comic Con, please reach us out to us. We'll love to meet with you guys, chop it up, maybe break some bread too. Whenever you guys whoever's going to Comic Con, please let us know. All right, back to the show now.
Now I will say this: One Piece, the way that thing is creating fan base, it's not normal at all. That fan base is based on characters. Who is a Luffy fan? Who is a Sanji fan? Who is a Zoro fan? Who is a Chopper fan? Who the like everybody picking and choosing who that character they stay behind, and they're going hard body for that. I was like, damn. If you go on some website that do all the cosplaying, some of these ladies are taking it too far with the female character. Other females are portraying the male character, so we could do it better. I was like, oh, say no
All right,
more.
David, hang on one second. Let's play this video really fast because I had a couple I found that will work for us really well. Hang on one second.
Okay.
Damn it. My computer will cooperate. Be nice.
Do you remember this forgotten cartoon, Pirates of Dark Water? A swashbuckling adventure following a crew's quest to rid their world of a deadly substance known as Dark Water. The Pirates of Dark Water was a critically acclaimed series during its brief run in the early 90s. Despite its innovative animation and compelling storyline, the show faced production issues and was ultimately canceled before its narrative could reach a satisfying conclusion. There still remains
Imagine that.
So we're both in agreement. It was definitely a production's number one. And second was actually, it grabs for kids. Production was incredible. Let's be honest. They did a great job with the animation. They did a great job with show.
Mhm.
That is a sad part. When you do something so fucking good, it fails sometimes because you put so much time and effort in it.
It does. And the thing is, the executive in Hanna-Barbera didn't understand how to create a unique storyline that will gain a strong fan base. They're all about getting the sell right now, get audience right now. They don't care if one can relate to anything. As long as it makes sales, that's all that matters.
Money again, man. It's all about money.
And this is why I say One Piece is showing everybody. Yes, we got over 1,000+ episodes, but guess what? We're creating new fan base every year. People are picking and choosing which character they love to stand behind them. We got game sale, you can't touch it on this. We got figurine sale, you can't touch it on this. That event that we do, it's like they let you know
Mhm.
you're not touching it. I follow the manga of One Piece. One Piece is way further down than the manga, way further, and that drives it crazy. So what if nobody surprising? What if the people who are working on Dark Water
Go back.
abandoned ship of Hanna Barbera, and they're the one that working with One Piece that made it what it did? No, that would be shocking if that were the case. Come on, One Piece came in 1999, and Toei Animation had a lot of people working on the One Piece project over the many years. Over the many years. And the fact that even though it was based on a manga, but it had very compelling, deep storytelling, it when it comes to character creation, character development, One Piece is the perfect model for it. No argument. You want to know how to build a character from start to finish to the point that people gravitate to it? Look at One Piece. You have to. What they did was a masterpiece.
Here's the thing. Also, like you have, I'll use two examples: two other worlds, two other universes, right?
Mhm.
Two other franchises: He-Man and Thunder the Barbarian. All right, and
Mm.
Thunder the Barbarian didn't do that well either for similar reasons. For production, and he gravitated more for kids because it was like uh, apocalypse, world ending shit. And
But
kids are like,
somehow He-Man did well.
humanity was the end of the world scenarios.
Yeah, but He-Man did well then. Thunder the Barbarian.
Yeah, exactly, because it was more like friendly and like bubbly. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
let's chop this guy up because it was different times back then. You know what I'm saying? Versus now. Anyway, my point is trying to get to is think of those two series. What is one thing similar about them?
Between Thunder the Barbarian and He-Man, the main character, almost two look too similar. Um, the theme based on type of species is almost similar to He-Man. Um, it almost looked like they have similar storyline, but would not flush out better on Thunder the Barbarian. Thunder the Barbarian ended up becoming a rerun on Cartoon Network at night, right next door to Space Ghost during the Adult Swing era, if I remember correctly.
So the thing that we're similar about is a couple of things. All right, number
Hold
one,
on. Eric said it was done by Studio Nirvana on
I
Dark
never
Water.
said this from the same studio. I never said that. Remember that.
But even though it was done with Studio Nirvana, it's still under Hanna Barbera. They owned it.
But remember, I never said it was the same studio.
I know you didn't say anything to it, but the thing is, I said it.
I said what was similar about them.
Oh, let me see. I mentioned what I said before. I said the main character looks almost identical, not identical, but almost similar. The storyline almost
Yeah, that's
similar.
one. So what was similar about them was, how can I put this? Okay, so production, anime, everything was that similar. Storyline was obviously different because of two different characters, right? But one thing that were both similar and one failed, one didn't was the toy sales.
Mm.
One did really well at toy sales, one did bad. When you have one that does really bad at toy sales, forget it. It's a matter of time before they put a plug on you, bro. Matter of time.
And that would always been the issue. But the thing is, remember I said, if you want to scam the web of all the pirate themed cartoon that ever came out
Mm-hmm.
before Dark Water and after Dark Water, before One Piece, there wasn't many. The one anything that would have been gravitating to the kids concerning that pirate thing. So what was being pushed out there? Let's be real. You had the Transformer era. Who can top the Transformer era? Nobody. The G.I. Joe era. No
Nobody
one
can
can
beat
top
G.I.
that.
Joe.
Okay. Then you have Voltron. Then you got He-Man. You got Stunt. All this theme, none of that was related to pirate. So when you bring in a cartoon with a pirate theme, it's like saying you throw in, aka you throw in the deep water, and that kind of ironic. It's a pirate themed cartoon. They put a being in the deep water, but you toss them in the actual deep water with all the sharks. Did they survive the sharks? Or no, they sank. Even though they had a good mature audience gravitating to it, they sank too quick, too soon. What can you do?
Nothing.
Which is crappy. This is something. This is why I always ask that question. What's wrong with the production mindset of the U.S.? Like when it comes to shows, when it comes to movies, when it comes to TV. How do you gauge or measure whether it's a success or not a success? If it's cartoon, the idea of success is toy sale. What about the viewers? What about the viewers? What do we get over 1 million views on Dark Water, and you got 200 views on He-Man, but your toy sales make a lot of money. So that's a success. Like you see what I'm coming from?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But you have,
Unfortunately, that's
but you
how
have,
they
yep.
run the shows.
But you have a lot of people watching, tuning in for that show, and they were looking to see what's going to happen next. But you cancel it. Remember the reboot version of the Thundercat a lot of people were watching it, but people didn't into the toy. They were into the storyline. See how far you go with it. After season one, oh, there will be no more season two. Then you come out with the extreme watered down version of Thundercat with Thundercat Go, and that didn't even do too well. Everybody say F Cartoon Network. This is how the cartoon industry has been losing tremendously to the anime industry by a huge margin. The fact that Netflix did the ultimate big deal of buying one right to air One Piece, get all they want to have every single episode of One Piece on their server. I went to Hulu, and not the same number that you see on Hulu that match the one on Netflix. And they air a new episode a week or two after it aired in Japan. On top of that, that's how serious it is. 'Cause I remember when people were commentating on the clip when they told Luffy did Gear 5. That had over 1 million of views all across the YouTube, all across TikTok. Everybody like, yo, that was a new power up. And all of a sudden they're comparing the power with One Piece to that of Dragon Ball Z compared to having the debate. Which power up is better? That doesn't show One Piece ain't going nowhere. Remember how I was telling Wally, if you watch Dragon Ball Z Diamond, you see what happened ever, you'll be mad about it?
What do you think?
About what happened with Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z Diamond, the last production of Akira Toriyama before he passed away. When he watched it, I
Okay, he
talked to him
became a
about
Pokemon.
yeah. When he watched it, he was livid. He was like, I was laughing. I said, I knew you were gonna get, but yet it was still a watch. but they're a massive fan base. People were comparing Dragon Ball franchise to One Piece franchise with other franchise because that was like a measuring stick. That's why I'm wondering if I could know the name of the people who work on the Dark Water project and see if they joined the One Piece project. If they did, they tell Hand Barbera F you.
The problem is, as much as we go back and forth with this, all right,
Mhm.
it's still going to be the same thing.
I know it's gonna be the same thing.
Yeah,
I'm
I
aware
think
of that.
serious. I thought that's going to be one. I don't think that'll be a rebooted ever. To be honest with you,
No, Dark Water. No, hold on. Time out. Reboot of what?
Dark Water.
Dark Water.
Yeah,
Okay, hold on. You know there's no space for that.
what do you mean?
Where is the number one running cartoon or anime that is the pirate thing? One Piece. Who is trying to compete with that? Nobody. To do a reboot of Dark Water, with me, you got to do a restructuring of the storyline itself. And you better, when I say better, you better have unique character that you're trying to build over time. You want to ask me, there's about 50 characters in One Piece people can relate to within the 1,000 plus episodes. 50. Keyword 50 characters that people can relate to in One Piece that people can say they like or they don't like. At least. But I've already introduced over 1,000 characters already. Within the
So
one, so let me put it like this though. Within the One Piece franchise, there are 50 main sub-main characters. They come back or they stay consistent to one arc and they don't show up no more. But they end up having new one coming in that end up becoming main. That's 50 compared to 100 after that. And they're almost consistent or a bit on how the storyline connect. That's how deep One Piece is. Anybody who is a manga writer who in the anime production, they will tell you the best character creation that have been done on One Piece. But I argue it could have been done better than that on the Dragon Ball Z franchise because there was a level of favoritism happening on the Toei animation to put Dragon Ball Z franchise on hiatus multiple times so they can support the One Piece franchise. There's no anime that can say they have a better in-depth character creation than One Piece. You just can't. Remember I tell you, if you want to create a masterpiece, you gotta have like a roadmap for all your characters, how you gonna build them out, how you gonna flush them out, what kind of backstory are you creating behind this? Who are they connected to? Who are they relating to? When these people gonna pop up in the storyline and when they will go back and pop up again? One Piece storyline is so well flushed, you cannot argue it. All the people who hate on it who never watch it, let them watch the first 20 to 30 episodes. They're gonna get hooked on it. They are going to get hooked on that series.
I'm not saying that bad, but
And no, the,
I
yeah,
think.
I agree with you. The first couple of episodes it'll be hard to gravitate.
Hear me out, David. Hear me out before you jump down my throat.
Okay.
As much as you don't think nobody want to compete against One Piece, I think that's what we need. A little competition goes a long way.
Yeah, but to compete right now, how are you going to?
Okay, I'll give you a better example that you never expect this to happen in our lifetime, at least.
Mhm.
WWE was the Megatron of wrestling for the longest time after WCW went
Mhm.
down and ECW, right?
Mhm.
Then all of a sudden you hear AEW came around,
Mm-hmm.
ROH came around,
Mm-hmm.
TNA came around. All of a sudden, they have to pick up their game. Their
Mm-hmm.
competition made them better.
Yeah, but let me give you. I hear what you're saying, but let me do it properly well. Ring of Honor have been around long enough before they went bankrupt. AEW, the owner of AEW, bought it back. Yeah.
They didn't went bankrupt, did they?
Um. Guess who came from Ring of Honor? Who's in WWE?
What's his name?
Seth
AJ
freaking
Styles.
no. Before AJ, Seth freaking Waller is from Ring of Honor. CM Punk is from Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I don't
Sami
see
Zayn,
it was all over the place.
no, Sami Zayn is from Ring of Honor. His partner, what his name?
Who?
Chubby guy, I forgot his name.
Who?
From Ring of Honor. Sami Zayn partner, who was from what's his name? From Canada, who had an issue with the bloodline. He gets sabotaged. He's out for injury on his ankle. Who who did Sami Zayn win a tag team belt with when they beat the
Oh,
bloodline?
Kevin Owens.
Yeah, he was also from Ring of Honor. Samoa Joe, Ring of Honor. AJ Styles, Ring of Honor. There's a long list of wrestlers from Ring of Honor
I'm
that's
not
on it.
denying. I'm not, but what I'm saying is when those companies start, putting pressure on WWE,
Yeah, but here's the thing about here's that thing. People was able to leave WWE and go to other promotion.
you don't get what I'm
That's
trying to say, David.
what.
You're going back to the same thing. Fuck what he's saying there. I'm saying to you, if somebody comes out with Dark Water Part 2 or reboot or whatever they want to call it, this is going to put a fire on a lot of people's asses, and this is possible. We can actually maybe keep up with One Piece and do better, or even knock them out of the water.
I'll be real with you. To knock One Piece, you must have a unique storyline that is not copying One
That's
Piece.
very possible,
No, no, no.
bro. We've
I,
seen
I
bigger animes, bigger shows get taken out with other shows.
now I've been a major anime junkie. I've been watching anime since the '80s, and
I agree.
I look at different genre and different franchise, different things. There's a lot of anime that compete with Dragon Ball debate on that thing, and it's possible. I haven't seen any pirate themed anime besides One Piece that compete with them on that level.
Yet,
Yet, yet. But here's the problem. One Piece has set a standard. Just like Dragon Ball Z set a standard, just like
I think
Mobile Gun
Eric
no,
does not
no,
like Kevin Owens.
he doesn't, I know. Mobile Gundam set a standard. Remember that.
That is a
All
perfect good example. Mobile Suit Gundam. How many mecha shows were out there? And
they,
now there's so many I can't even keep up with them anymore.
they and some are doing okay, but not as many series or seasons like Mobile Suit Gundam franchise have been putting out. So at least they try to catch up, right?
Mm-hmm.
One Piece set a standard, even created themselves in the anime industry saying that to create a pirate thing anime to go against One Piece, it's a tall order. They say themselves. Now the fact that if you think I'm lying, One Piece is not that popular, how come you have a live action version on Netflix?
I never said it wasn't popular. Whoa,
No,
you twist
no,
my
no.
words.
I'm not taking your word. I'm not taking your word. The fact that I heard that live action version won an award, I'm shocked. I'm like, what? That won an award?
Uh,
I'm like, okay,
I'm not sure how good it is, but I'm not surprised because it is a huge following for One Piece.
massive.
Um, why?
And that's what I'm trying to explain to you because the guy who did Luffy, he said he grew up on it since he was a kid, and the fact that he was able to act it, which is shocking. So I'm like, okay, and they're gonna do another season two, but they still trying to figure out how to go about it because I watched the live action. They were trying to compound about maybe 30 or 40 episodes under 8 episodes. It didn't look too well. I didn't like it because it's almost like you compress in to compress 30 to 40 episodes for 8 episodes. It feel weird. You missing some you missing some scenes here and there. So I wasn't feeling that. But
Mhm.
I'm sure everybody who watched the live action version and watched the anime version and watched the first 40 or 50 episodes got hooked on it, trying to binge watch to catch up. And when you try to binge watch it, 8 episodes a day, if you have free time on your hand, you will get hooked on it. But you be like, whoa, you didn't know this about it, but you didn't know that about it's like a conversation starter. That's the crazy. One Piece is like a One Piece can whoop any daytime soap opera series you have out here in the US. That's how bad that is. It had its drama. It had its action. It got its comedy. It got its sad moments. It got detailed information or storyline that make you want to hate the villain more or feel sorry for the villain. There are backstories on back. I'm like, dude. When I start to find out, oh, who the parent of this, I'm like, oh, now I see why he's on the opposite lane. Why he stepped away. Oh, I can see. It was just. It is deep. I even told Wilder and a few other people, if you want to make this anime franchise into one huge game, everybody keep telling me, no, it can't be a game. It'll be a world. It'll be on the story. It can't be on no disc because it's too huge. Too many storylines. Too many characters. Too many arcs. The amount of data or side it would take over your PS5 or your PS4 is gonna be ridiculous. It took about almost 50 gigs just to download on your console. That's one. Then you have to be online to play that game because the whole entire game cannot fit on your game console. You'll be on the server just to do different world, different adventures. They got too many One Piece games. I played the most recent one they have so far, and I feel like they could do better than that.
See, again, David, we're getting off topic here. It was way off topic.
No, it may sound like it's on topic
I
because
know
here's the problem.
you're very passionate about One Piece.
I'm passionate about Dark Water, but I'm mad with Dark Water because one, even when I looked it up, I was beyond pissed because first and foremost, they got so many excuses why not to go further, which is not a real excuse to begin with. But you invested heavy on other projects, but you put a limited budget on this. This is why it didn't succeed. And here's the funny thing about it: they actually had a game for this. They had Dark Water. They powered the Dark Water for Sega Genesis.
Hey guys, second. So King, did you see both of my pictures? Just wondering if how you like the pictures because I sent you. I sent him a picture of my hand when I got hurt. So I wonder he was go ahead, David. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing: they had a video game for Dark Water for Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo.
We're in Genesis. I didn't know that.
They had Pirate of the Dark Water for Sega Genesis with an action adventure, and they got Pirate of the Dark Water for Super Nintendo. It's like a beat 'em up game.
Hmm.
Crazy. At least it was making its way, but instead of allowing it to flush out, they just shut it down. They even have comic books were released by Marvel Comics under the Star Comic imprint, which is a similar storyline with minor variation.
Sorry. So it's funny when I'm laughing. I'm sorry, Dave. So I last year when I was at CQ's house, I asshole King, the asshole. You know what I'm talking about, right, David?
Mhm.
And he has been assholed in 20 something years, I think 30 years or something like shit like that. I broke his long ass ring. He was pissed. I was just like, I like, hey, King, look here. And we're playing card game, some card game. I can't remember which one we're playing. I think we're playing oh god, what was it called? Muffin Time. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and I broke his streak. I said, I'm gonna get you again. He says, you're not gonna get me again. So it's kind of hard for me not to get him to how far we live. So I've been sending him pictures every so often. He says it doesn't count. Bullshit. It counts. You know it, asshole. I got him in a picture and it counts. I don't give a shit. Don't even give me that shit. I got even CQ the other night with the picture and he starts laughing. He goes, yeah, you got me, dude. So I
So
call you shit on that one, buddy. Go ahead.
here's the thing I find is if you want to bring dark water, I hate to say it, but you might have to pull a script from. No, I don't think it will work. No.
What was it? Just say it.
If you want dark water to survive with a reboot, then you gotta ask the people. You gotta ask the help from the One Piece franchise to help you write the storyline.
That's
That's
where you're
number
wrong.
one.
I think you're wrong. I tell you why.
Why?
Because there's no competition then. Competition drives competition.
I know.
Excel.
And I-
Hey, let me finish. What I think will work very, very, very well. You're gonna hate me, and the King is gonna agree with me 100% because he's a fanboy of this company. Netflix, Hulu, or Amazon Prime. One of the three top dogs. Take it and reboot Dark Water. It was skyrocket. Watch.
Now, here's the thing. To reboot Dark Water, you better have a storyline. You gotta take at least 1 year to flush out a proper storyline for it. That's number one. Even if they said one of the earliest Western cartoons trying to attempt the anime style narrative, they were trying to follow the anime pathway of flushing out their episodes. So yes, you need a very deep writer who know how to flush a storyline to create the origin for each character, create a backstory, but based on why they issue that, what caused the dark one, who did. You had to flush it out neatly. It cannot be you don't want to copy One Piece, that's fine. But to build a proper storyline, it's not that easy. Meanwhile, I have said this several times before. If you go, the guy who owned a his own production company in Japan, who's an African American, he said to himself when he went there and studied on one of the OGs
Mm-hmm.
in anime and manga, there's a standard whereby if your manga does not have a very unique, compelling storyline, it's not going into production. It's not happening. So they don't just flush nonsense out there like that. It is brutal over there in
All right,
Japan.
Dave. Before we go too ahead, let's play. I want to play this video real fast.
Go ahead.
Let's see if any old heads remember this.
Coming up next, seek the treasure of Rule with the Pirates of Dark Water on the greatest place for adventure, the Cartoon Network.
It was on Cartoon Network only for a short period of time.
I watched it only on Cartoon Network, but there was like one of the commercials. You know, after that when it ended. You know, after let's say was I don't know whatever show it was that was next.
Mm-hmm.
That was the next. You know how they did it back then back in the day. To me that brings memories back. You know what I'm saying, dude?
But I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you want Dark Water to come back, you need to build a writer pool. And I hate to say they couldn't be American-based writers. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, David. Black Water's never gonna come back. Let's be honest here. You know why? The fan base is not there.
I'm aware of that. Like I said, it's not that the fan base is not there. They're allowed to grow its fan base out. Just one season. Hold on a second. Just one season with 13 episodes. Hold on. Here's the issue. The first season was 13 episodes. They allowed it to grow their fan base. When
Hmm.
they did the second season and got up to eighth season and they canceled, they cut the lifeline. That was shitty. If you're gonna rebuild, if you want to reboot or rebuild Dark Water, you need to create a huge writer block. Either you got 3 or 4 writers who will sit down, build the character map of every character when work on Dark Water. That is one. Build out the origin story for each one. That is two. Build out the pathway how they meet up. That is three. Build out the villains as well. How will they play itself out? It should last for more than a year of stories, which means you should get at least 30 or more episodes. It has to make sense. You need a new illustrator who can redraw, rebuild the character from scratch. Either they have them similar or do it better. It has to make sense. Remember, when it comes to anime has to relate or have a very unique tone that built on something. You have to do the same thing with Dark Water. There's a reason why a lot of these manga that end up having masters following that force people hand to make the anime of it because their following was there. Dark Water had the comic book, but not much of any illustration came out after that one. Yeah, but that is the owner, Hanna-Barbera, of the IP, wanting to let somebody else to work on it that's not American based.
Does
That is
anybody know what happened to Hannah Madonna? I know Rivera. I mean, so I know the company went bankrupt in '01.
Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah.
And no amount of IP to have under the umbrella, too many.
So they think they had too much and they couldn't keep up with it.
Well, come on. They think they can control the world. And they learn the world changed faster than them. They couldn't keep up. They just couldn't. That's the itch. That's what I'm trying to tell you right now. In today's time, what cartoon is kicking anime ass? None. Why is that? Better storytelling, better character building. So when you want to jump into that game where the anime is dominating, then you need a different team.
But eventually, somebody's gonna take him down, dude. You keep going back to the One Piece, but we gotta move on from that subject, bro.
I know, I know. At the same time, saying Mobutu Gundam. Who would take on Mobutu Gundam franchise?
Nobody right now, but eventually somebody's gonna take.
Yeah,
it's
but it's,
always somebody's gonna take down the tyrant. You remember that?
I know, but the way it in the anime industry, whoever set the standard, you better come up and have something better than that in that thing. And how many mecha anime that have popped out there that trying to compete with Mobutu Gundam? Mobutu Gundam, they bring it.
I'm going to push back on this comment a little bit
Uh,
because they're an American company. They're doing more movies than anything right now. Their anime
and
series is really good, but nowhere near as good as it needs to be. Has a lot of work to do. And
that's the
I'm
problem.
still wondering how the new Superman movie is going to come out when it comes out.
Right.
How it's going to be because that's their IP. The trailer looks really good. Don't get me wrong, it looks
I know
really
that.
good.
And that's what I'm trying to look at right now because every cartoon they have been putting out for the past 5 or 10 years, right? They don't get the same amount of viewers that the anime have been whooping their ass on. A lot of companies trying to borrow the license from the anime production company in Japan so they can play their stuff over here. You have Netflix competing for it. You got Disney trying to, but not doing no. Just if they do it, it had to go straight to Hulu. Because you cannot Disney tie the anime because that's what you lose. You got Crunchyroll in the mix of it right now. So whatever cartoon that they put out there, they're not getting no rating. It either go to the streaming service directly, can't go on the airway no more, and that if you can find it. Go to the
What is it?
search engine. Any cartoon America make right now, it cannot compete with the anime. It got dumped in Netflix on the cheap side or Hulu on the cheap side or Country on the cheap side or just whatever you can search for it. Cartoon production company in the US cannot compete with the anime production company no more. They're failing. And those who have went, the Item Brothers, I didn't know they were twins, I thought it was one person. They will tell you, you go to Japan, you go under the production and see the type of environment they have over there. There's no ass kissing going on. You have put in your work. If you're a writer, put in your work. They go read your work and see if it makes sense, and see if it's compelling. They'll put you through the ringer. And your thing don't stick, they'll send you back to the drawing board. Work on it.
Well, that's
And
any company. That's any company, bro. That's any
no,
company.
I know it's any company, but the way the Japanese production don't operate the same way American production operate. That's what the problem
Because
is.
Japanese, any Asian countries are workaholics.
They're workaholic, but all
And
about
that's how they're raised. They're raised, okay, you're going to go in the morning at 6 or 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, whatever they start,
mhm.
all the way to 8 o'clock at night. You do a 12 to 15 hour shift is normal for them. Like an 8 hours for us is normal, 12 hours normal for them. So
But-
you can compare, now
No,
you're comparing apple versus oranges,
no,
and that's not fair, dude.
what I'm comparing is creativity.
But again, you can't do that. Two different worlds, two different franchises, two different cultures.
and that
You
I
can't
know
go
that
down that
I
rabbit hole.
no,
If we go
I
down that rabbit hole, it's just gonna we're gonna go back. Oh,
let
in
me
a
tell you
circle.
why. Let me tell you what. Let me
What
tell you
if?
why.
What if? What if?
Let me tell you why I do that. Warner Brother was doing that already. They had some of their icon cartoon, which is Superman or Batman, whatever, go through what it would be like with a Japanese animated. And the storyline, if you pay close attention, it was almost becoming similar how they were writing for a anime production. Warner Brothers is doing that. They get it. Why you think every mention Warner Brothers they hold their own? It's not that they hold their own. They catching on. Storytelling has to matter. It cannot be stupid. It has to make sense. So they get it. Sometimes they have some of the best anime that come from Japan to do their work for them. You don't have to take my word. I've seen the interview for the intern, but they're from New Jersey. And they mentioned illustration, the storytelling, whatever theme you're going into anime, it got to make you have to do your research first. If you want to build an anime on pirate, even though it's not close to historical point, but it had to make sense in the way that people can follow through. It cannot be lame.
It has to make sense for a story. End of story.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny actually. But when you're comparing WB versus Funimation for argument's sakes, again, that's not fair.
I can't compare.
Hang on, hear me out. I'm not saying you, anybody. It's not a fair breakdown because Funimation is based in Japan, different culture again.
Mhm.
You know, they bow, they do all this stuff and everything.
Mhm.
Versus us, we walk down the street, give middle fingers to everybody. So
Mhm.
you can't compare that. Even like I said, like when Paul got pissed off with book versus movies. I understand. I want to do it hands-on, and I'm the creator of the channel and all that stuff. It was fun to talk about it. But in the end of the day, Paul was right. You can't compare that. That's not fair.
And I'm glad he said that. You can't compare book versus movie, but yet because of that same argument, a TV series is not doing too well with the rating. Wheel of Time was based on a book. They chose not to follow the book and do
What
their
series
own
was it?
thing.
I'm sorry.
Wheels of Time.
Never heard of that one.
It's a series on Amazon, right? Were based off a book series. They chose not to follow the book. The first season, they lied to the audience that they were following the book. People were catching on. When the second season came to play and they caught on that they were not following the book, their viewership went down. Third season was worse than second season. So they weren't going to come back or for sign up for season four because they were losing money. I know Paul have his legit argument, but here where Paul need to understand. Some book series have a massive, huge following. When you make a
Look
choice,
for here's a better example. Man, what was it called? It was on HBO. If I was going crazy for when it came out.
King of
But
what would King of Stone or what want to call it?
hang on, I'll tell you right now. I'm actually gonna pull the app open right now because I just don't remember off my head. It was on Max.
Was it the Book of Stone or something like that? What want to call it? I don't watch it, but that one based on a book,
Yes, you're right about that part.
and they follow it heavy.
And that I cannot sit and argue because I haven't watched it yet.
So I understand Paul argument based on that. You can compare book to the movie or book to the series, but you need to understand if you're making an adaptation based on a popular book series, you're drawing viewers to that project because they follow that book. Either you like it or you don't. Game of Thrones, thank you. Game of Thrones. That
Thank
is
you,
based
Ari.
on
I
the
was
book.
looking for Game of Thrones.
I don't watch it. Those who say who wrote the book, read that book, and they heard that series, they follow it. So that argument, yes, you have a legit argument, but you need to understand something. Don't if that's the case, then don't make no adaptation of any book. Make something original on your own. Don't copy a book. Because you realize when you start doing things your own, it's not based on a book, it depends, hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment they say it's an adaptation of particular books, look at the view. Game of Thrones got so much views. Because they got huge book followers. That's how they make their money. Even though they stick close to the book, they still make their money off that. No argument about that. You can debate it all you want. Star Wars was based off the book. You want to argue that one?
Well, Star Wars
Power,
based
Power, the one that 50 Cent took over. That was based off a book too, you know?
I don't think Star Wars was based on was originally from book. It was a movie then book. I think it was the other way around. Star Wars.
Maybe I might be wrong, but somehow they both correlate in one way or the other. Lord of the Rings book was massive. Even though it's about 50% they got close to the book, but the book has too much detail. Whenever you're basing a live adaptation of a very popular book series, it's going to draw eyes on that. I hate to say it, a lot of these directors and these producers were gunning for that. If that's not the case, then why touch the book? If you didn't know about this one have a massive fan, why would you pick a live adaptation of a particular book, hoping to get people want to come and watch it in the theater or watch it at home to the TV? Answer that question.
There's a lot of factors there. Let's keep that. Let's say there's a lot of factors why we don't know. But Game of Thrones is a great example because it had a really good following. Walking Dead, another one, a very good following.
Book.
But you know what's the difference between those two? Don't tell me it was because one's zombies, one is not. I'm gonna kick you in the balls if you say that to me.
I didn't watch The Walking Dead too much.
So the biggest difference, to be straight up with you, David, is Game of Thrones was stuck to the book very close to. They really alternate a little bit here and there, but Walking Dead alternate a lot. They got to the point like people stopped watching it, and when they did a big U-turn and come back to it, it was a little bit too late already.
Now you get my point.
Not, and only that, then you have actors like the main actor who played Rick. He said, "I'm done." In the show, in the comic book, he didn't die yet. He's still alive. But I haven't read the whole series, so I cannot say for a fact. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments. I'm wrong, and I'll admit I'm wrong. But from where I left off, he was still alive, and they killed him off. I think the last season before it ended. I'm not mistaken, but I didn't watch all the end. To be honest with you, I just
But
got to the point, like,
it did prove my point when I said when you base a TV series or movie based on a book, when you're adaptation of a book, and you're not following it with the book, you lose your audience right off the back.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to lose it. Either you like it or you don't. That's the risk you take. When I saw the Wheel of Time, and I was like, it's pretty good. Then I see the reviewers saying a lot of people hate it because it didn't follow the book. I'm like, oh. Then I started to research it, and I realized it was tanking. I'm like, oh, ain't gonna be no
Okay,
season
remember the
4.
show, the spin-off of Lord of the Rings? There's also a book based on it. I can't remember the name. A Power of the Rings, I think it's called. That bombed completely, and they followed the book, but nobody liked this though.
Which one? Power of the Rings?
Yeah,
Mean that martial art character, something like that,
no, it was based off the Lord of the Rings. Remember?
based on Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, we were talking about it a few months ago.
And this series on Amazon, I don't think it fell off. They're still airing it.
I think I'm gonna look at it right now. I'm on Amazon
What
as we
what I was
speak.
talking about was one Wheel of Time that was based on the book.
I
And
know
did
you
not
were
follow.
talking about David. I'm not. I know what you're talking about, David. I'm not stupid. Trust me.
But
Too many
the Lord
shows.
of the Ring, the Lord of the Ring is still going on right now, hard in Amazon. Then that one that cash cow now. Because to be honest with you, I even said if you take the Lord of the Ring book and make it a TV series, that could be like 4 or 5, maybe 6 or 10 season. But that's huge storytelling right there and there. Harry Potter, based on the book, remember?
Horrible.
Twilight, based on the book, remember?
Yeah, that was basically. It was so horrible. I thought. When they came out, not because I didn't like it. I didn't think they did a good job with the whole going from. You know what I'm saying?
But yet, a lot of girls were coming to the movie to watch all the installment of Twilight. I was like, oh, really? I'm glad I didn't touch the book. I'm about to puke. But you notice a common theme. They get the most popular book that a lot of people are going to the bookstore to buy and try to make a
Okay,
live
I was right,
adaptation.
David. It didn't do that well because it's only 2 seasons.
What? Lord of the Rings series?
The Ring of the Ring of Power, because the
Oh.
first season was 22 and the last season was 22, 21. I mean 23. It was 2 years ago when they did this last series.
The first season with how many views?
Let me see if it tells me on Amazon. I don't know if it does. I only did about out of 5 stars, 3.25.
Let me see. Ring of Powers, right?
Yeah, I'll send it to you in the back chat. Make it easier for you. There you go.
Okay. I'm about to Google it and see what the rating was.
I already. It says it right there. I don't know. It's just I out of 3.25 stars, 30,000 views.
Mm.
So technically, that's not a great either. You know what I'm saying?
I see it got 3.2 views on it. 2 seasons, and that was it.
Yeah, and yeah.
You say it was a flop. Not only
Yeah, no, it wasn't, Eric. I'm going to disagree with you. It was horrible, both ways.
it was a flop. Not only was it snubbed during the award season, it turned out to be a mere 30% of the people who started the show actually end up finishing it. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't. I only got into a first episode. I didn't really finish. I started watching like 20 minutes into it, and I remember I think I got called away to do something, and I never got back to it. So that is this is a great example, and a lot of people had a high expectation on this series.
And I see why. They say, I would say, it also introduced many legacy characters to fit into one season. It failed spectacularly because most of the series focused on subplots rather than the main plot, forging the Ring of Powers, meaning they did not follow the books. Amazon now
Did they
having
even
a
have a book of the Ring of Powers? I don't know. I'm serious. You're more
no.
Harry Potter fan than I am.
The Lord of the Rings book is one huge master book of thick books. The first The first 3 books probably be The Hobbit.
That I
The
know.
second
That it was
3,
extra movie, I thought.
the second 3 books probably be Lord of the Rings.
I thought the Lord of the Rings was first, then the
The,
Hobbit.
the Hobbit is first before Lord of the Rings.
No, I know. I know. Timeline. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Which
Now,
one was released first? I'm asking.
which one came out first? The movie? In
No,
movie
the movie.
side,
The books. I'm talking about the books.
The Hobbit came first, then after Lord of the Rings.
You sure about that? I think it was the other way around.
Because they did the cartoon version back in the 1970s with The Hobbit first, before they did the Lord of the Rings. I even bought the book. Want me to show how big that book is?
I read it. Actually, I know how big it is.
It's bigger than the damn Bible. To be honest.
I know how big it is.
But what I believe they did stupidly wrong. I said that if you want to take that book and do it properly, you have to follow the book as close as possible and break it out in multiple seasons. And what they did with Amazon to the other books they wanted to do adaptation, they focused too much on the subplot and not the main plot. So I hate to say that Amazon is not a good studio to do
Some things they have good. They're really good about.
which one that did follow the book on and did well.
They haven't done a lot too many of those, bro. Like, I mean, some shows, some movies are really good.
And Eric say Harry Potter is actually in both in page and screen.
I disagree
So
with that completely.
I never read the book. But a lot of people who read the book said that the Harry Potter movie was close to the book. Probably
I read both. I read both of them. And this is maybe I'm a little biased here, maybe.
How many books do you read on Harry Potter? So there's a lot of books. On Harry Potter.
I read the original series.
Yeah, how many books? Because I know the writer has so many books that she wrote. She made a billion.
Okay, so time out here. You're right. 1937, Hobbit came out with Publix first. Then in 1954, the Fellowship came out.
That's Lord of the Rings.
Followed right behind that, about a few months later, the Two Towers, and then a year later, the Return of the King came out. So you were 100% right. I apologize. I thought maybe it was the other way around, so I wasn't sure. So with the Harry Potter, I have a weird hate-love relationship with that whole series. So it is a reason behind it, and you understand why. As a shit now, we're not supposed to be watching that shit.
I know.
That is so demonic, and like I was talking to my priest actually, and he turned around and looked at me like, "Okay,
I know.
I'm not going to tell you not to watch it. I'm not going to tell you to watch it. Hang on, David. Let me finish. I'll tell you one thing. I used to be a big fan of it before I became a priest, before I became a man of the cloth, before the Conan came to me, like he calls it, Foto Casadino, like says it. And when he started learning more about our faith, he realized, oh, this is very demonic. I'm not saying I'm a perfect Christian. I know I watch stuff that I'm not supposed to watch. But I'm not going to poke the bear either.
I get it.
Because Devil May Cry, great example. You can consider that demonic. But here's the catch-22, I feel. He's not fighting towards, Lucifer. He's fighting towards the good side. So that's the catch-21. Harry Potter is all demonic. It has nothing good about it.
And I get it.
If you go to a Christian, I don't. Again, I
don't
like talking about this. Go ahead.
People who have took the chance to read the whole entire book of the Lord of the Rings from the Hobbit to the Lord of the Rings, they say it was a great storytelling.
Lord of the Rings you're talking about now?
Yeah, it's a great storytelling.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm not denying that. I was talking about the Harry Potter. But like, Eric, I love you, brother. I'm like, no, please don't take it the wrong way.
Yeah, I hate to say this.
Hang on. Let me finish this. Let me finish my comment for a second. And you got the floor. It's nothing personal, bro. I have my personal belief, and that's one of my beliefs. It's very demonic, I personally. If you like it, hats off to you. But it's something I'm not going to have a conversation too much about on the air because, again, I don't like talking about too much about religion on here.
I know.
But one thing I will say is I don't recommend anybody watching. That's all I'm going to say. Go
I
ahead,
would say,
David. I'm sorry to cut
I
you
would
off.
no, it's fine. The Lord of the Rings stories. If say you have a software that allow you to scan the whole entire book and make a computerized version of the series in animated form, you'll find out it's too much details
For which one?
for Lord of the Rings. So you're going
All
from
of
the
them, right?
Hobbit, all of them. So you're going from the Hobbit timeline, how the ring was created, or the other stuff, how it been passed around, how it been moved, all the way to the Lord of the Rings part of it. It's ridiculous. So that's why I say Amazon is not the studio to do book adaptation because I think they have a track record of sabotaging it.
They do have a good reputation making movies.
Movies, yes, but book adaptation that have huge fan base and want to put it on live TV or on the streaming service, they're not that good with it because first and foremost, remember what I say this.
I only seen one there, and
Let me tell you
it was
why I say this.
Lord of the Rings, obviously.
The director of Lord of the Rings, when he did the first one, second, and third, right? It took them almost a year plus for each book to do. They were doing their best to stick to the storyline. There were two versions. There's a regular theater version and there was a director cut. I had a director cut of Lord of the Rings DVD collection. I didn't get a DVD collection for The Hobbit. Now, if I want to purchase the whole complete, I'm getting all of them on DVD on Blu-ray. Real talk. The combined collection of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings together. I'll see how much that will cost me if I gotta put money to the side to get that. And that is a collection that you need to have at home. But I can tell you that the director himself admitted they can get up to close to, they already got close up to 50 to 60% for each installation of Lord of the Rings. That's how detailed they tried their best because it was too in depth. Even the actors were almost burnt the hell out. To spend 3 years together on what each year for each book installation of the movie, it was taxing. They say, yo, it's like saying they stay away from home for a whole 3 years.
One thing I would say about Amazon, they're really good about.
Not a
They
fan
have
of
a
that.
lot of old school stuff we can watch for free on there.
I give them that.
I
give
just
them that.
added literally Digimon, Return, something like that. Hang on, I'll tell you right now. Give me 1 second to get back to it. And this is something I didn't know they even made it. It's a 3-part of it. Okay, Digimon's Adventures Reunion.
I remember that.
So,
I watched them all.
yeah,
But
I'm
here's my
curious how
thing.
that is. I mean, it was back in 15 it came out. I didn't know they came out.
But here's the thing. A lot of these great books that have solid following for many years, it's all based on the great storytelling the writer had in these books.
But David, you're not gonna talk about your favorite cartoon series that was on Amazon Prime? Zelda.
Digimon, Zelda,
Zelda.
they're one of my favorite.
It
I
was
barely
horrible,
play.
dude. Come on, let's be honest here.
I
I was
know
fucking with you.
that. I know they're one of my favorite. I barely even play the game.
I actually do like the games.
The one was horrible to me was the Mario Brother movie. It was kind of like
Which one?
the first one they did. Okay, then you get it. You
That's
get
next
it.
week's conversation, actually.
I know. That's why I said, let's stay away from doing live adaptation of anything you cannot do properly, because you don't have the creativity to flush it. Keyword: creativity. The American production company are losing the creativity because when they want to do something, for some reason, they like to sabotage it. They don't have the mind to actually flush it out as they see it in the page. They want to put their own retarded 2 cents in it. Maybe if we do this, no, stick to the books and see how much people will love your production. When you put your crap on it, it end up being crap. That is the problem. They don't
There
know
was
how to.
one anime that you need to watch because I know I think it was you or Wad. I can't remember who was doesn't want to watch it because we're going to do a show on it, you like it or not.
Which
Sea of the Moon.
that's me.
All right, so I actually watched the original whole series as a kid at Tsunami. Enjoyed it actually. I really did enjoy it. Then I watched Sea of the Moon Crystal, the new one.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed that even better.
Here's the problem. Solomon to me is torture. I'm sorry.
You've reached your limit on talking. Shut the fuck up.
You were good.
Boom, blade them, motherfinger.
You were being good tonight, actually, too.
They hit it. I'm being no, cause you know why?
You know what? I'm gonna pull a trick out of your own country.
Oh, Eric, you're so wrong. Eric, you're so wrong. Eric, you're so
No, I'm
wrong
gonna
for that.
witchcraft you.
Eric, you're so wrong for that.
Oh, those are fighting words, Eric. You really think MCU has failed? Let's see. You want to run the numbers? Who has made more money, Harry Potter or MCU? Oh yeah, MCU made more money. I'm sorry. Who's continuing to make a movie? Yeah, MCU. I get hit below the belt with this one.
I know why Eric is saying that because here's the problem. We have diehard comic book fans who actually read the comic books, and when you watch the movies and you find out things are not.
Again, it goes back to what Paul said a couple months ago.
I know.
Here at Apple Rose. That's why when I go watch a movie, I open mine. I don't go, this wasn't like the show. It wasn't like the movie. I never do that. I go, oh, this is a little different. I don't know how much I like it, but let me give it a shot. I never went into a movie.
Someone who read the comic book before they did the Iron Man movie. Iron Man never tell anybody who he really identity really was. Because when this guy did it himself, they flipped the script. Thank you.
Not arguing that he never exposed himself. Get it exposed? Get it? Get the joke right there.
So I get it, but this is why I'm telling you right now. You don't want to take something that people have followed multiple years and they grew up on, and then you do a live adaptation and you spit on their face. They're looking forward to see what it'll look like in live action or in the movie.
But again,
But
Avengers 1. Avengers was nothing about based on the original series book. Completely different. Excellent movie. I think it was one of the best Avengers movies ever made. But again, it wasn't the same. All right, let's see what he has to say. I am tired of getting the spin-off of in my face. Screw him. You see, you're a hardcore. I want the book. 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 It's like taking a piece of candy from a kid.
Yeah, but I'm sorry to say.
Same conversation I had with CQ. He will say to you, it cannot be exactly the same. CQ is the biggest Marvel fanboy on this fucking side of the earth. If you go to his basement and see how much MCU shit he has, you think he's sponsored by MCU.
And I totally get it. But this is where we have a cultural conflict. And this is why American cartoon / movie industry will get shitted on. It will keep on coming. That any other region decide to do a live adaptation or a anime adaptation of a particular book or manga, they will be close to be almost spot on, but will not do it dirty. Only in the U.S. it's done dirty. That's an issue. So I have to agree where Eric is coming from. Cause I bet you this though, and anybody who in the Japanese culture or Chinese culture want to say, if you do a live adaptation or comic book or a anime adaptation of a manga or a book and put on the screen and you don't do it justice, the type of backlash you would get, the director had to go into hiding. How about that? That's how serious they really are. They don't play around. Don't take what they love and do a live adaptation or a movie adaptation or anime adaptation, and you don't think and you didn't do how you want to do it, and it pissed off the audience.
All right, so hang on a second, Eric. I never say you know more. You know more. You know, you probably don't know more than me. Not disagreeing with that one bit. What I am arguing with you right now is you cannot compare the comic book versus the movies. There's two different animals right there. It's like
And they,
comparing oranges
and
with even better steak versus turkey. Two
and
different proteins.
but here's the thing: today's generation of Americans who have access to the internet, right? They're seeing a comparison when the manga and the anime are almost close at hand, to the point whereby it continued to create more fan base. There's a level of continuity behind that. Even the French that do live adaptation or more or the best books, they stay close to that. Chinese no different.
Mhm.
Only in America, they shit on books they decide to make movie or TV series on. Most cases, and do the only very rare that some stick to the book, make a huge amount of money. I mean boatload. I'm talking about after you're done with this franchise, you don't have to do nothing no more. You set for life. You can retire from this.
I'll put it this way, bro. Disney knows one thing. As much as they're right now, they're selling Star Wars because they can't control that franchise. They're out of control of that one because it's so out of their league. But with the MCU, forget it. They know exactly how to turn it the right way. And much as us, there are a lot of movies that we didn't like coming out. I think is right now we're getting to the point that we're getting to a point comic book movies are we're fatiguing them right now. We're over, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but how long that gonna last?
For what?
When it comes to Disney, they pull like this though.
I think we need a break right now, actually, from him.
I'm be with you. Disney is not making themselves look good for the past couple of years. Because let's be honest, I have to agree with Eric. The fan base that follows certain franchise hardcore for multiple years, like the same way they did with the Star Wars, the Star Trek, to the Ghostbusters, they're the same thing in the comic book arena. When Disney starts to do things completely different from what people read and grew up reading and followed for many years, when you lose fan base, all you have is whatever shit fan base who's just gonna watch it and know come back and spend the extra money. That's what you're gonna have left. So when your profit is going down and getting thin out, you start to ask the question, why is that? But they're not realizing you decide to shit on what people idolize and follow through, and they say they don't have to trust you for it. Yeah, it's gonna hurt Disney in the long run. Either you like it or you don't. That's the given. When there was a rumor had it, they want to do a Disney version of Dragon Ball Z, you know how much I can't call it a backlash wave. It was a tsunami.
Well, the
The rumor of Disney want to do their own version of Dragon Ball Z franchise.
I never heard of that personally. The person
It
I
was,
would know for facts
it
because
was a rumor.
he knows the inside and out. CQ. That's why I just posted his channel there.
It,
He's in, so he would know. Why is he never fucking on when I need his ass? The funny part is,
maybe his schedule, but here's the thing though. When that rumor was circulating on the web that Disney want to do their own thing of Dragon Ball, it was a tsunami of F you don't even dare try. They were threatening, even though it's not real, just hearing the rumor, looking at the comments, they said, don't even dare. Don't even dare. That was a threat. Because the fan base behind Akira Toriyama is global. Not the people who watch it, people who learn from him and build their own franchise that to show homage to the original OG.
The
So
Mark
if I were Disney, don't even dare try doing a franchise version of Dragon Ball Z. If you do that, you doomed. They will pounce on you on that one. So that one out of their league, and they just shut the hell up on that one. That is beyond their pay grade and the story. What make you think they're gonna do a Disney version of One Piece? They can't.
Oh, that will flunk.
Now it's not a matter of flunk. The family will threaten them. Don't even dare try that either. Disney don't have that level of creativity that can compare with animation that coming from Japan. The people that compete with Japan right now are China and South Korea. That's their competitions right now. The French got close, but right now the Japanese industry had to worry about the South Korean coming in and the Chinese coming in. They come in hardcore. They're not playing. That's why I say American cartoon industry is not doing too well. It is not. And there's no catching up. That's why I say if you want to do Dark Water, I hate to say it, sell that IP to a Japanese animation company. Let it take
I
one
think they
year.
would if a Japanese company came and asked them. I think they would. But
Yeah,
David,
but
we're hitting the 2 hour mark. Finish your thoughts and go right into your final thoughts.
I'll make it my final thought. If you want to save Dark Water, when Dark Water remember Transformer did the same thing. They had a Japanese version of Transformer and were pretty good. So I would suggest Hanna-Barbera, if you still own the IP to Dark Water, sell that IP to any strong Japanese animation production if they really want to invest in that particular project. Which means they had to spend an entire whole 1 year of building a unique storyline that would make sense. They had to build out the characters, build out their origins, their backstory, when they meet, how they meet, what will be the difference, how they develop themselves over time. That's the thing. It has to be that way. If you don't do it that way, it's not going to work. They gotta have a strong team of good animators who will do it justice. Because the animation of the 1990s compared to what's going on right now, that's a huge margin. So that will be a project that will take at least a year and a half, almost 2 years. Once they can get the idea flushed out properly and get the animation and get everything played out supposed to be, then you gotta put out like a trailer so people can get a hint of what to expect of Dark Water. And if I would choose, if you want to get the storyline popping, maybe we'll start doing the manga or comic book first. Start flushing out the story from the manga. Build your audience from the comic book first. If you do a Dark Water manga, and after a couple of chapters published out there and start building a fan base, and that fan base go heavy, then you go into the animation. Because right now, if you want to make Dark Water relevant, you have to start from scratch. That's the only way. Other than that, that is my final thought.
So, guys, love it or hate it, Dark Water is gonna be something I think we're gonna be able to watch on reruns, and it's sad but facts. I'm actually looking up right now for you guys to see if there's anywhere we can watch it besides paying for it. Because I don't know about you guys, I like my money. Okay, let's see. We got 3 results. Unfortunately, there is nowhere you can watch it free. The best place you can watch is on YouTube for a fee, obviously. I don't and Amazon, the 2 best places. Unfortunately, that's what results we have. But I think It was a good series. I'm just sad I couldn't do better than I was. Is that? But let's do a quick schedule update, and we'll call it for tonight. Let's get this up here. Sort of had it ready, but I didn't. All right. Tomorrow night, guys, on Gray Area, me and Paul, we're gonna be having a Conan show. So you guys been bugging about us asking questions. So here's your opportunity. Chop it up with us, yell at us, scream at us, whatever. And we're gonna be off Monday. Hey Mariana, running a little late tonight, I see, huh? On Monday we're gonna be off, but we'll be back on Tuesday with David. Ready for this one? You're gonna groan for this one now. Going the distance, a journey of strength and persistence. Yeah, I knew it. Then, David, you want to talk about your show
For Wednesday Anime Unlock, we're going to a very, very dark end. One of the darkest anime being produced ever. With me and both agree, we trying to figure out how they got away with a lot of stuff they did. And we both agree, if it was done in present time, it would have got canceled. Too many times. That gully. So, ladies and gentlemen, before you come on Wednesday, please, 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 start tonight this weekend, look up Berserk. Either you watch the movie or you watch the TV. If you watch the TV, watch a few episodes and see what I'm talking about. The level of gruesome and darkness. And ask yourself, how were you able to sit down and watch this? No, Eric, I'm not pissed at you. Don't worry about that. I'm not pissed at you. Don't worry about that. So I'm telling you,
I'm not pissed. It's just your
what,
opinion. Not my opinion.
watch Berserk before you come on Wednesday. So you see, understand why I say this is one of the iconic anime, which is very dark as hell, but it's cool to watch. Ladies, if you like horror anime, I would recommend this one. Watch it at night. Turn off all the lights, everything on your big screen TV. Make sure there's no light, have surround sound, and watch the impact it will have on you. The manga is very, very dark. Real talk. I think the manga is darker than the anime. But we will take our time to digest. I'm not gonna talk about the whole entire franchise, but I want to see how we go about it. Either we go about the movies side of thing or we go about the anime side of it. But we'll figure this one out before Wednesday. But it'll be better than that Gungrave bullshit. It was dark, but you could have done better. This one was darker.
I actually like Gungrave, to be honest with you guys. But anyway, and for Paul and Coach show on Thursday, gonna be the habit, of happiness. We're off on Friday and then back on Saturday with crazy the worst video game movies. I'm gonna see Pete can come on that one. I'm gonna ask my buddy Pete if he can join us on that one. So to that, and Eric also. So I don't get mad over this stuff. We have our opinions. We might disagree or agree or whatever. I don't get mad over this stuff. I got bigger things to worry than mad over this stuff, right, David?
Yeah, I hear you. So we will have that conversation. But right now, Reckless Ray, you haven't shut up in a while. We missing a lot of conversations. What's up?
Oh, Mariana.
Not Mariana, Reckless Ray.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I talked to him. He says he can join us on Tuesdays because that's the day he actually records for his show. He's also trying to get monetized on his channel. Also,
So what about Saturday? Can you show up on Saturday?
Saturday he does his drinking night.
Oh, you drunk to talk. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, he goes out. He goes out with his buddies drinking at night. So that's when I told him I do a show on Saturday, like he thinks that was crazy. But hey, I might be
Yeah, man.
crazy, but I'll take it.
Well, another thing, ladies and gentlemen, looking for a female host to join us on the Anime Unlock, please.
Whoa! We're looking for any female host to join us for any show.
Jonathan anime, okay?
You've reached your limit on talking. Shut the fuck up.
Boom,
So-
waving middle finger.
But anyway, except that, guys, we will see you tomorrow night at 9:30 right here for the gray area. And David will be back on Wednesday. Except that, as always, it was a Spartan HQ Network. I am the Ghost Sparta. He is Black David. Stay fresh, stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.